everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today I have a pretty fascinating topic to discuss with you all. It's something I'm honestly very passionate about, seeing as one of the characters involved is my favorite in the Wings of Fire series, and may just be one of my favorite characters of all time. There's something in WoF that just absolutely bothers me, as it's just a big display of hypocrisy amongst characters who should know better. One of my recent videos, Should Deathbringer be punished for his kills, I highlighted why his childhood should be considered, and dove into this side of the topic a little more. However, a specific comment on that post is what inspired the making of this video. The Wolf Warriors, a fan of the channel, perfectly described something I've always felt, and I need to talk about. Dragonets of Destiny display a disgusting hypocrisy and bias against Peril, who isn't that far off from Deathbringer, so when they accept with open arms. So today I'll be bringing up this very interesting discussion, saying why the DoDs are in the wrong, and how they should have, and can still, fix this. But before we begin, a huge shout out to my patrons. Doug1195, 3 Moons, Slightest Wild, Fizz, Thistle, Noobto, and PyroNuke. Thank you all so much for supporting me. Links to their social medias are in the description down below. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. The treatment differences between Peril and Deathbringer are actually wild. But before I can properly expand upon that, I must first recap, compare, and contrast the early lives of both Peril and Deathbringer, and then get into their current lives. These two dragons are more alike than you would first think. They're both raised by psychopaths, essentially cut off from reality. They're made to think that killing was okay, and were instructed to murder many different dragons throughout their times as children and young adults. It was all they knew, and that's so sad. Peril was raised in the Sky Kingdom by the utterly evil Queen Scarlet. She was forced to be her prime arena fighter, where she would be made to kill an uncountable amount of dragons. Even as a baby, Peril was forced to burn eggs with unhatched dragonets inside. She was told nothing but lies by her mother, warping her whole view on the world so that Scarlet would benefit. She would just kill and obey, as that was her only known life. Deathbringer used to live on the volcano home with the other Nightwings, where he was trained to become an assassin. He killed whoever he was tasked with murdering, being just a tool for the adults and elders who molded him. And yet, even with such similar upbringings, the Dragonets of Destiny treat these two characters way differently. Deathbringer is loved, respected, and trusted among the Dragonets. Even though he was an ex-assassin with many kills, he's brought into the group with open arms pretty early on, especially because Glory took a liking to him. Deathbringer is allowed to follow the Rainwing Queen everywhere and be present for really anything. There aren't any grudges held against him. It's understood that that was who he was raised to be, and he had no say in what he was told while growing up in isolation. With Peril, on the other hand, her situation is entirely twisted the other way. She's an outcast, and the Dragonets of Destiny hold a grudge to her. And unlike Deathbringer, who hasn't really made up for his actions in a big way, we can actively see Peril trying to change, even down to her way of thinking. She wants to help, not hurt, and now she knows so much better than the lies Scarlet fed to her ever since she was a hatchling. Peril was barely even allowed to attend Jade Mountain Academy in the first place. She was barely allowed back into her kingdom. And yet Deathbringer is accepted by all, even though those two are nearly one and the same. Where's the fairness? For characters all about redemption, the Dragonets of Destiny sure as heck don't care if Peril suffers. Might be thinking it's because she betrayed them. Which yes, she did give up their location to Scarlet in Book 1, but it also stemmed from the way she was raised. In an abusive relationship, especially one where the person was manipulated as a child, it can be easy to run back to the thing that was hurting you, because you feel like you can't live without it. So I get why Peril did it, and at that point in the story, she hadn't really experienced much different than the arena, besides Clay. She had barely left the Sky Kingdom. However, even Deathbringer betrayed the group. He tried to kill them, and when he couldn't, he attempted to assassinate the princess he knew they were trying to work with. Yet Peril is treated like utter rejected garbage. The Dragonets of Destiny are incredibly unforgiving, but they accept Deathbringer into their circle totally fine. They both kill dragons in their terrible conditions and upbringings. If anything, Peril had it worse a lot of the time. It surely can't be because of her fire skills that they treat her poorly, as that is something she biologically cannot change, unlike her thinking and thought process, which she has worked on tremendously and cares to fix. Deathbringer still has that knowledge, training, and muscle memory to kill. In fact, he will to protect Glory, and yet he is not seen as a threat, but Peril is, for something she has no control over? It doesn't make sense. No matter how hard Peril tries, no matter how much she becomes a better dragon, she'll never be accepted by the characters who show their hypocrisy by accepting someone just like her, just because he's charming. He's better at hiding his flaws, whereas Peril was told that hers were what made her more of the weapon she had to be. That is not fair, and it is not right. Even Clay, the one who has shown her the most understanding, still isn't entirely 100% comfortable, but he'd gladly take a stroll at Deathbringer. Clay and Sunny are definitely the kindest, both Glory, Tsunami, and Starflight. It honestly hurts to read when you see the comparison. You can't be nice to one killer and despise the next. Honestly, while this is unfortunately realistic, it still sucks to read about how hypocritical the Dragonets of Destiny and loads of other characters can be. The fact that Peril is so unacceptable to them, yet others with her exact same story are welcomed, isn't okay. It really isn't. It's part of the reason why I love her dynamic with Turtle. She has a fresh start, one that was given to Deathbringer, but not her. Peril proves herself as a dragon who's trying with every part to change. And do we really see that much the Nightwing assassin who has never expressed much remorse? I don't know, this whole situation bugs me. In order to fix this, while the entire world won't be able to change its perception of Peril, a good place to start and have an effect would be the Dragonets of Destiny. They're a symbol of hope and unity to all dragonkind, but it's kinda hard to be that if you're excluding one of the dragons you claim you'll be taking in. I think that if they maybe, just maybe, try to treat Peril with some of the same compassion and respect they give to Deathbringer, things for the Fire Scale Dragon might change. I'm glad she's being accepted even just a little more. Hope that she lives a happy life on Pyria, one that's full of all the love she should have gotten when she hatched. But what do you guys think? Let me know down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!